Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome along to the afternoon rabble here on the Rangers Rabble Podcast. That is Monday, so therefore that does 99% of the time mean that it is Martin and Brian with you on your Monday. Brian, outside of football, Brian, how are you?
Not bad, not bad. Met most of the gang on Saturday. Big Kieran was down, Big Stuart, um,
Big
Ian
Stuart.
Thompson. Well, Posh Stuart, sorry, Posh Stuart. And then met the OG gang, like Heather and Gregor and Cammy and them. So that was good as well. So and Alex. So yeah, it was good. Good. A good start to the day. It was. Didn't turn out that way. And then I did a night shift last night, so I'm a little bit groggy. So
Oh,
forgive me for my forgive me if I'm feeling a little bit groggy and a little bit tired, but not as tired as you.
yeah, well, maybe not. Maybe not. Who knows? Who knows, right? Anyway, look, hello, everybody. Please do like, share, and subscribe, whatever you're watching on. It really does help the show. I know that I think the kids call it TikTok famous over the weekend, Brian, um, because of some comments that were made after the Dundee game and emotions were high. And look, can I just stress, folks, right? And I really do want to stress this. Um, it's all in a football context, not a life context, right? So outside of football, I'm absolutely fine. Inside football, as Colin has asked, have you calmed down yet, Martin? You were rightly raging the other night. And I feel as if I do need to make the comparison because I've had a few people message me to say, Martin, are you okay? I'm absolutely fine, right? I'm absolutely fine. In a bit of pain, but the less said about that, the better. But in a football context, Colin, no, I haven't. I haven't calmed down. I still feel exactly the same way I did after the Dundee game. There's no part of me that's calmed down. Um, and I feel as if maybe I need to give a little bit of context on my comments about Russell Martin. I'm not saying that Russell Martin should be sacked just purely on the results of the two opening games, right? Um, I wasn't a fan of Russell Martin coming in. And again, like I said, I went, okay, but he's the Rangers manager. You've got to support him. I still will support him. Of course, as will all of us as Rangers supporters, because he's the manager of the football club, and the board aren't going to sack him, so he's going to be in the job. Um, but from what I've seen in the league from Russell Martin, there's nothing that says to me that even if he starts to improve this team in terms of getting results at home against the likes of Dundee, I just don't think he's a good enough manager to go and win the league. I just don't, which is why I'm saying he should go. He should be sacked, and we should bring in um, a proper manager who knows how to win things. I just don't think Russell Martin's got that. I think the performance against Motherwell, we can all sit back and go, right, do you know what? It was horrendous. It was a terrible performance. First game of the season, bit of nerves. The manager comes out, reads the riot act. Okay, fair enough. Right, let's see what they've got against Pilsen. Very good performance against Pilsen. Ant-Man makes his first start. Um, we're looking at it and we're going, right, there's been money invested. We've got new players. It's a new dawn. But there's no excuse for not getting all 3 points against Dundee. And before the game, we were even saying there's no excuse for us not to put in a good performance against Dundee. Well, the performance against Dundee was worse than the performance against Motherwell, and the result was worse because it was at home. So maybe it is knee jerk, Johnson. Maybe it is, but I'm not going to sit here and I'm always going to sit here and say what I really think. And if it's wrong, it's wrong. If Martin turns it round, superb, fantastic. I'm more than happy to eat my words. But I'm always on here to give my honest opinion. If it's liked, good. If it's not liked, fair enough. But it's my honest opinion. I don't see anything in Russell Martin that is going to help us go on and win the league. I really don't. Brian, that's my honest opinion, my honest thoughts, and I don't see them changing anytime soon.
It's difficult, isn't it? It's difficult. I mean, we had the we had the excitement after the European game where we played. We scored 3 goals and looked very comfortable. And you'd like to think that Pilsen are of a higher quality of team than Dundee, but I said last week the acid test now for this team is how they perform in the league after playing in Europe. Until I see tangible evidence that we're making progress in league games, I'm still not going to get excited. And thankfully, I didn't, because Saturday was a big letdown, a massive letdown. I don't think anybody. Well, I don't think there wasn't many people where would have went for that sort of scoreline and that sort of performance after midweek. So it's just a big letdown. And as you said before we came on, it's this constant sort of you get excited about a game, you get excited about the season ahead, and it just seems to be shattered very early in the season where things go awry, and the inevitable will happen in November. That's the sort of doom feeling now you get. It's horrible, and things have got to change drastically. I think Russell Martin is really, he called it right on the Tuesday. He changed the team and all that, but it's domestically that's my big issue just now. It's I think it was 38 minutes before we had a shot on goal against Dundee. Dundee were languishing down the bottom before the game started, and that's just not good enough. And it's baffling how we can play. But as you said before we started, we can't now use Europe as a sort of marker, because Europe takes care of itself. That's not an issue. And we cannot turn around and say, we played well in Europe, so we'll play well in the league. They're totally different games. We're not playing against a low block in Europe where teams come out and play against us. So it's this low block that's the problem. This, teams digging in and not giving us an
Dundee
inch.
play that much of a low block? Did they really? How many times did Dundee break away and almost score?
Yeah, but that was from defending, though, wasn't it? That was from defending.
Even when they broke away and attempted to score, where were we? Where were we then on the counter attack when there was space? Bryan, we were nowhere. We had no clue what we were doing. None.
And that's the worry. That was the problem. And Dougal said it was near 70 minutes before we got a shot on target. So that's even worse. That's even worse than I thought. So yeah, it's if Martin thought he was under a little bit of pressure after Motherwell, I think drawing at home to Dundee, he's going to have a big rude awakening. He's going to seriously realise that he's up against it now. Not just him, but the team. And you see signs. You see green shoots in some games. You think, right, there's something here, and then Saturday happened, and it was basically like the team had never played before. That was the horror, the sort of galling thing about it. It was like they'd never played before. And as you say, it's that you've got that doom feeling now where it's just history repeating itself, and it's like deja vu all over. And that's not the feeling we wanted going into the season. Nobody wants that, but we're really, 4 points behind already. And this St Mirren game, if it gets cancelled, and I don't even want to go there. I'm not even going there. But yeah, it's not looking great early doors, is it?
No, it isn't. One bit of good news: Vix has changed their name. So I can actually understand it and say it properly. So thank you very much, Vix. Right, well, let me ask you, Bryan, and do you know what? Let me ask every single person who's watching, right? I understand that my opinion seems a bit knee-jerk, right? It's just the way that I'm feeling, right? So maybe in a week or a couple of weeks or whatever, my opinion slightly changes on Russell Martin. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, right? But regardless of that, I understand why people are having a go and saying, oh, Martin, you're being ridiculous, you're so reactionary, blah, blah, blah. I get that. I totally get it, right? It's not Russell Martin, Bryan. What's the problem? What's been the problem in these first two league games? Why has it went so wrong? I mean, Dundee, we had Giga, Aarons, Rothwell, Gassama, Ant-Man. Maybe I'm forgetting somebody else. All Russell Martin signings, right? And we still couldn't lay a finger on Dundee. So if it's not Russell Martin, is it his players? Is it they just need time to bed in, which I think is a nonsense argument. But is that the case? Did they just need time to bed in? Was it just simply a bad day at the office? Has it just been two bad days at the office in the league? What is the issue?
I mean, well, the first one one of the ones you said there is it take time for them to bed in. Well, Ant-Man was signed one day and played the next day, and he played a Stormer. So I think we can put that one firmly to bed. It's nothing to do with bedding in and all this stuff. You've then got to start to look at the character of some of the players. Can they cope? With playing in front of a 50,000 crowd and demanding crowd, and if misplaced passes are sort of met with sort of sort of negative sort of comments and stuff like that. You've got to then look at I mean, he said that he was looking for characters and certain guys that wanted to come in, and I don't think I think and on Saturday. The likes of Gassama and Ant-Man were receiving the ball with their back to the goal, and that's not their game. They need to be like running onto a ball and using their pace to get past the fullbacks and the centre halves. I just don't think we're playing it far too safe. Don't think we're taking any chances. I think we're more happy to go back than try and make a killer pass forward. And I would much prefer us just to at least take a chance and like thread a ball through and try and get somebody in and goal than keep in play and keeping it safe. I just think we're too safe in the league, and I would love to know the reason why. I mean, if you know you're far better than your opposition, right? Excuse me, you've got the confidence to know that if you play remotely near your best, you're going to win, right? You know that, and it's I just don't know how they can't go into a game like Dundee and have at least the confidence to know they're better than the opposition. That surely must be an absolute must. They must know that they are far better than Dundee. Why they've not been able to do it, I reckon it's because they're playing too safe. I think a lot of them are just playing it. Oh, I don't want to lose the ball and get the pressure. And as I say, instead of making a killer pass or taking on a man even. So it's well, things could go south quite quick, as I said, as I was going to say earlier, but I stopped myself because I don't want to think of that. But we could be in a world of pain, but by the end of the month, absolutely, and that's unforgivable. It really is, and it's not looking good for him, is it?
No, no, it's not. It's really, really not. Right, we've got quite a few questions come in, so I'll
Mm-hmm.
get to them in a wee second. But firstly, Ian McLeod has become a Rabble supporters member. Thank you very much, Ian. Thank you for the support, my friend. And like I always say, I hope that you enjoy the extra content. Now, I've got a question for Singing the Blues. I'll get to that in a wee second. I want to bring up this for AJ, and I think this is why I'm so down. So, Martin, go and watch yourself after last Tuesday's game, right? I was so up for it. I was so happy with the performance. I was so excited with Ant-Man and Gassama. I really liked Rothwell in the middle of the park, and I thought when Raskin came on, I thought he was excellent when he came on the park, right? And I had actually, I think, in that moment in time, as crazy as it may be and as out there as it may be, uh, personally, I came away from that game going, do you know what? I think we can win the league. Like genuinely, like not. Of course, we can win the league because we're Rangers and we should be aiming to win the league. Sometimes you say that and you think it, but in the back of your mind you're going, yeah, but Celtic are still the favourites. They've won the league the last 4 years. They know how to win a league. They know how to win games late. It's going to be tough. and you look at the players in your team and you go, I mean, well, we absolutely can, but we probably won't. I looked at that game after Tuesday and I went, oh, by the way, yeah, I like what I'm seeing. I really like what I'm seeing. That's so good. We can go on and win this league. And then you see the game on Saturday against Dundee, Brian, and you see, do you know what? It's not even just the result, right? Like I says to you before we started, Brian, right? If we had peppered their goal and their goalkeeper had the best game of his life, and we'd hit the bar and hit the post, and Dessers was offside last minute and we drew one each, you come away from that and you go, right, this isn't looking good, but we can see the performance, we can see it in the play. Brian, I seen nothing against Dundee, and I seen nothing against Motherwell. I In the league, I've just seen nothing, and I think the realization just hit me that, do you know what? And again, I hope I'm totally wrong, and I hope that I'm just completely overreacting. I would love to, at the end of the season, the comments be full of, oh, Martin, how stupid are you? How stupid do you look? What an idiot. What an overreaction. And I'll sit back and go, I don't care because we've won the league and we've won a cup, or we've done this or we've done that. I won't care a jot, right? But Brian, after that Dundee game, I just went, I just don't see it. And I went for up here after Tuesday in the performance to just on the floor.
Yeah, there was a lot of excitement, and folk were looking forward to Saturday after the Tuesday, as I said. And the longer the game went on, the longer you could sense that people were just seeing history repeat itself and the deja vu effect. It was horrible. Actually, it was horrible seeing people go from buzzing and feeling great, and then seeing the confidence and the sort of the happiness just disappear out of them. It was amazing to see, and you were just shaking your head thinking, how's this possible after two league games? We're actually feeling like this, you know. We should still be, the new players should be, getting in amongst it and doing, I'm not going to label Gassama and that man because obviously they're brand new, but they've actually done decently well since they've played for us. But um, there's still a hangover, I think, from older players in the squad. I think there's still a hangover from a few in that squad where they're just not good enough to be here, and it's it's going to be he's either going to have to do something brave, or he's either got to sign his way out of it, or he's got to be brave. And signing his way out of it, I don't think. I mean, this will if Noble Mendy, who we believe has chose Rangers now instead of Rayo Vallecano, that'll be his 10th signing, Russell Martin. 10th,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, there's got to be a point where the outs have got to start happening. Guys have got to start leaving because our wage bill must be astronomical. It must be absolutely over the top high. So we've got, I would like to think that once we start thinning out the squad, and there's a few guys that are feeling a bit down and realize they're actually go, I think we'll maybe see a difference then. But it's there's not a lot. That light at the end of the tunnel has just got a massive bit smaller, hasn't it? Because we were all thinking, oh, the light's there, you can see it, we're heading the right way, and then all of a sudden Saturday happened, and wow, that was as you say, it was a big sort of come down realization, and I think a big come down for a lot of fans because, as I say, they were extremely excited and looking forward to the season, and it just hasn't happened.
I'm seeing a lot of people, and by the way, just because you disagree with me doesn't mean that you're wrong. You could absolutely be right, and I could absolutely be wrong. This is just all about opinions, right? It's absolutely all about opinions, and that's what I love about the community that we've built is that we can all argue and say to each other that we're wrong, and then go for a pint, right? So it's literally all about opinions, guys, right? But I just don't understand or see. People. I understand people saying, "Look, it's repetition. It will get better. It will do this. It will do that." I just there is no excuse for that level of performance against Dundee at home, no matter what part of the cycle we're in with a rebuild, Brian. Right? It doesn't. I don't care if we've just been relegated to the bottom league. Right? There is no excuse for that level of performance against Dundee. Like I say, results you can take if it's just not been your day, right? In terms
Yeah.
of in front of goal or whatever. Results you can take and you move on. But there's no excuse. There's none for that performance against Dundee, Brian.
No, it's just not good enough. You can't expect. I mean, we're hoping this team gets into the Champions League. My God, if we can't,
There's a
if
good
we
chance
perform
that
like
we
that,
do, Brian. There's a very good chance that we do.
but it just doesn't add up, though, does it? How can we perform like that and going for a Champions League place yet playing at home as playing against Motherwell and Dundee? We can't manage. It's madness. It really just shouldn't. It shouldn't add up, but it somehow is. Somebody Jock Blue saying in the comments there, Alva beat Dundee, and we've got them in the cup on Saturday.
Yeah,
So
I get that, right? But I think I've been a wee bit harsh on Dundee. I'm not backtracking, right? I've been a wee bit harsh on Dundee. Seeing the pre-season Premier Sports Cup things, anything can happen, right? Especially when you're a smaller team with smaller finances like Dundee, and you've brought in a new manager and you're trying to bring in a new system, right? I mean, if it happened to us, if we get beat off Alloa in a Premier Sports Cup because we never get into Europe, then we would be asking questions. But for a team the size of Dundee, I can get it. I can get it. But it does make it worse, Brian, that did happen to them a few weeks ago, and then they come to Ibrox and look extremely comfortable against us.
it is. It is worrying because I think Alloa's League One, are they? League One, League Two. I think it's League One.
League One of the Championship, and League One. I
Yeah,
don't even know.
yeah.
What the hell?
So we obviously have got a few battle scars from last season with the cups. So that we don't need any repeat of that again after last season. So it's yeah. I'm usually one of the most positive people on the go. I can always see the best in things, and I can always try and bring a bit of positivity. But right now, I'm really struggling. I'm really struggling to see where this team goes now. I'm really struggling to see where Russell Martin changes things. Um, it's very it's just disheartening to sort of have that good feel factor where you're signing players, you're getting good reports about them, you're getting all this buzzing, you're waiting for the season to start, and then no sooner has it started that we're back to feeling terrible and just feeling negative now, and that's horrible. We've had this for so long, and as you said before we started again, how many seasons are we going to have this? Where we get a bit of excitement in the summer, we start feeling a bit better, and then the season kicks off, and you think, oh, here we go again. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. And
No.
yeah, I'm
No,
scunnered. I'm
nobody,
just scunnered.
nobody wants that at all. Can I just point out, by the way, right? Airwolf, 3 trophies in 12 years, yet people think we're entitled to trophies. Nobody's entitled to trophies. I'll tell you what we are entitled to, but we're entitled to compete. They expect Rangers to compete for trophies. We are absolutely, as supporters, entitled to that. The amount of money that we've put into that football club over the years, the amount of support that we give that football club home and away, the amount of merchandise that we buy for that football club. We're entitled for Rangers to at least be competing for trophies. And right now, 2 games into the season, we're 4 points behind Celtic. And by the time we play Celtic, if we lose that game, we could be 12 points behind. That's not competing for trophies. That's just embarrassing, is what that is. So I'm not sitting here saying that we're entitled to see Rangers win the league. No. We're entitled to see Rangers compete to win the league. And right now, I just don't see how that happens. Ouch. Singing the blues. Question: do the players care? I don't know, Brian. I don't know.
Wow, that's a big one, isn't it? You would absolutely like to think so, wouldn't you? You would absolutely like to think that they actually care. Anybody, anybody that does a job, right? Anybody, it doesn't matter what job you do in life, you've got to care what you're doing, because it gets you up in the morning. All right, there's some folk will just do it because it's a job, and but the vast majority of us that do most jobs, enjoy our jobs and we care about them. And I'd like to think
Hold
football,
on, hold
footballers.
on, hold on, Brian. Hold on. I'm sorry. My arithmetic's terrible. How 12 points? Because Celtic will have played 4 games. We'll have cancelled the St Mirren game. Celtic will have played 4 games. By the time they play us, that'll be 4 games.
12. They'll be on 12 points.
Yeah. So sorry, we'll be on 10 or whatever. Sorry. So they'll be 10 points ahead. My apologies. They'll be double digits ahead. Are we going to argue about 2 points from a 10 points behind and after 4 games of the season? Are we going to argue about 2 points?
No, not really. They're both as bad as each other. So, but no, I would say I would really that would be an even bigger kick in the teeth if they didn't care, wouldn't it? That really would be. I would like to think that, as I say, any person that does a job would care about their job and want to do the best that they can. Because let's be honest, if a lot of these players are wanting to use Rangers as a stepping stone and go on to greater things, they better start bucking their ideas up because nobody will want them. They won't be going into any EPL teams or any team, Spanish or whatever their destination where they want to play football is. They won't be going because their performances hasn't merited it. So a lot of these guys better start, realizing quick that, although they might not think a lot of people watch our game, there's England's just next door, and they do keep an eye on, probably Celtic and Rangers more because they can see that they can get a little bit of value out of a player rather than getting somebody from the EPL or abroad. So there is teams watching us, and at the end of the day, these guys better start performing. It's as simple as that, because this is going to go horribly wrong very quick if it carries on the trajectory we're on. So it's up to the players now.
Yeah, but we have this conversation every year.
Yeah,
I have to
it's like
say,
deja vu.
I could literally just week by week re-upload old podcasts, and we're having the same conversations.
Yeah.
Gaz, thank you for the super chat. My friend, also a channel member, big supporter of the channel. Please make sure, by the way, if you haven't already, to like, share, and subscribe whatever you're watching the show on, whether that's YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. So, Gaz's super chat: if you're a professional boxer and you're getting smashed, you have to find a way to win. Our players need to have the same mentality. We have no bite. Brian, I'm going to say it again, and people are going to be frustrated and annoyed at me saying it. We're having this same conversation again.
Yeah, and Gaz, nice seeing you on Saturday as well. There was another. Gaz was the other one I couldn't remember. There was that many people you were meeting for.
It's just you and alcohol, Brian.
Well, there could have been a little bit of that, yes. I suppose I'll maybe throw that into the mix, yes. But yeah, it's almost like Groundhog Day, isn't it? It's like Bill. I honestly feel like Bill Murray and Groundhog Day because it's just the same old, same old. I mean, it's quite there. It wouldn't be so. Would it be no? It wouldn't be so bad if we actually had a really deep, a reasonable start to the season, like we beat Motherwell and Dundee, and then we sort of went on a decline. There's not even been anything in the league to suggest that things are going to get much better. That's the horrible bit about it. And really, and we're going to get to the stage now. Folk are going to get scunnered and not go to games. That's what's going to happen now. Out with Europe.
I think most people are still a bit away from that yet. I don't think many people are at where I'm at. I don't think anyway. I think I might be jumping the gun a wee bit, but I can't help the way I feel. I can't help the way that I think and feel. I think that there's a lot more people. I think there's a lot more people who are still on board with Russell Martin, and I hope that they are. I genuinely hope that they are. But yeah, I mean, if we go 10, 15, 17 points behind early on, which is the way that we're playing is a real possibility, then I think you might start seeing that, Brian.
And we've got St Mirren next, haven't we? Away from home.
No, we don't.
No, in
No,
the
the
league.
game's getting cancelled, innit? Rangers have
Well, we're
applied for
meant.
the game to be called off.
Yeah, we were meant to have St Mirren away. Um, I still, for the life of me, can't believe that we're going to do that. I really can't. It makes no
Which
sense.
which is the ironic thing that if we do cancel that game and we get beat off Celtic, we will be after 3 games played 10 points behind them.
Yeah, just it's just it's just so annoying. It really shouldn't be getting cancelled, this St Mirren game. I think Pacert's getting cancelled because of they're wanting to prepare for the game in Europe. So that's the reason
At
why.
least the catalyst is bringing out the positives. We've not been beat
Uh,
yet.
well, that's what Russell Martin said, wasn't it? After Saturday, he says, "Oh well,
Oh,
one negative, we didn't get beat." I mean, I was
yeah,
absolutely fizzing at that comment. That
yeah,
that really pissed me off no end after he said that in his after the game. Well, it was a draw. It wasn't a defeat, so there's got to be it's not all negative. And I was just like, at home at Dundee, and we're coming out with that quote. Come on,
yeah.
do better.
And by the way, see this for Robert. What happens if we beat Celtic? Right? I would genuinely not be surprised, Brian, in the
No?
slightest. Right? If we go in against Celtic and we play really well and we beat them, it wouldn't after the start to the season that we've had against Motherwell and Dundee, where we've been worse than crap. Right? To go up against Celtic and beat them, I would not be surprised. But then multiple man's get the answer for you, Robert. We'll fall into some trap and then come back from international, drop points at home to Hearts, and we'll all go mental. That's
Yeah.
exactly what happened if we beat Celtic. Unless Russell Martin somehow finds a formula to change it, which I still sincerely hope that he does. I just don't think he will. I don't think he's got the ability to do it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm so wrong that it's embarrassing for me. But if we beat Celtic in a couple of weeks or whenever it is, and then we all go, oh, yes, look at us. We beat Celtic. Look, we're back in the title race. Oh, how glorious is it? Oh, this is brilliant. Then we'll form our asses again because that's what this team does.
Well, the thing is as well, there'll be a lot of people will do what multiple man suggests. We'll all fall down the trap. We'll be like lemons going down the hole, won't we? Remember the computer game Lemmings from back in the day? We'll all just follow and go down the same trapdoor. So, yeah, I mean, the only good. But as I've said before, we don't have to worry about Celtic in Europe. That's not the
No.
games that's caused us issues over the last few seasons. The games over the last few seasons have been home to Motherwell, home to Dundee recently, away from home performances as well. We cannot. It's the low, the bottom end of the SPL. We can't beat or just
Mhm.
can't get results, and that's the problem. I'm not worried
Mhm.
about Celtic in Europe. You all know that games will take care of themselves. So no, I wouldn't be at all surprised if we went and beat Celtic. Put it that way.
Yeah, and again, we will beat Alloa, right? We will beat Alloa. Um, but what happens if Alloa beats us for Bob? Martin's
Oh,
still
don't.
Martin's still in it. Martin's still in a job probably. I don't really think it changes much, which is a sad thing to say, but I just don't think it changes much. Right, super chat from Waterboot channel member as well. Thank you very much. Do you think Russell Martin has the mentality to survive at Rangers? I don't. And do you think he is capable of motivating his players and team? I don't. I don't either. And that's why I think he's got to go. But again, and I keep repeating myself, it's all about opinions, Brian. I don't think he's got the mentality to survive here, and I don't think he's capable of motivating his players.
I'm certainly not down the track as far as you. I'm still hoping that there's going to be green shoots appearing very soon, and we're going to start playing good football. I'm not at the point where I'm not wanting him here yet. Things are going to get seriously worse before that happens. So No, I'm not quite far down the line as you, but I'm still hacked off. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not at the point where I'm thinking like you just quite yet. It's. I'm trying to be positive. I'm really trying to be positive. I'm trying to keep. I'm trying to sort of keep that good feeling that we had after Tuesday. I'm really trying, but I know it's not easy. But I'm not certainly as far down the road as you. I'll just say that. I'm not saying I'm thinking will he survive? I don't know. I don't know. That's an impossible. I wouldn't say it's an impossible question, but it's
Well, we
just a
don't know
difficult.
because we can't
We
see
just
into the
don't know.
future, so we don't
No.
know. You can only go on what your gut tells you.
Yeah,
And
I mean, we could ask
my
Stephen
gut,
Robertson. He might know. Stephen
aye,
Robertson might know because he's in the
he
future.
will know
So
because he's 12 hours in the future, so he'll be able to tell us if anything happens. And see this, right? Scott knows how much I love him, right? And see, without Scott, the Morning Rabble wouldn't be what it is, and we probably wouldn't have the amount of people that call in as what they do. You know, you're about to have a go at somebody when you start with a real positive, don't you? So this is said out of a place I love, Scott. See this question, right, Martin? Who do we bring in then, and don't say Stevie G? I don't know. See if I knew the answer to that, I'd be working at Rangers getting paid an absolute fortune. I've got no idea who we bring in. But that doesn't, just because you don't know who to bring in, doesn't mean that you can't sit here and say that you don't think the manager's good enough and that you should go. Because see, if that was the case, not one single supporter could slag the manager or say the manager's not good enough. So I've got no idea who we bring in. Absolutely no idea. Would I bring Stevie G back? No. No, I wouldn't. But I've got no idea. And I hate that question, Brian.
yeah, we just shouldn't be speaking about new managers at this point. This shouldn't even be a discussion. It just shouldn't be. I mean,
Well, in fairness, it's me that's made it a discussion because I've said
well,
Saka.
it is, yeah, it is absolutely, yeah. No, I mean, I, I mean, how many people actually genuinely at this stage want him sacked? Like, actually cannot see any universe where that he makes it. You know what I mean? Is this like a yeah? I know you're in that. But I mean, is the vast majority of people now in the boat that they want him sacked? I mean, I'm not wanting him sacked
Oh,
quite yet. I just
nope,
don't.
nope. I don't think so, Brian. I don't think so. I think the vast majority of people have got a. Normally, I do have a lot of patience. Normally, I do. Normally, I'm one of these people who will sit back and go, right, everybody take a chill pill, right?
Yeah,
Let's not overreact. Let's wait and see. Nothing's lost yet. Blah, blah, blah. I'm usually one of those people, Brian. But I think this time I've just had enough.
do a flash poll before we finish.
Oh, now you're asking me to move. Right. Right. You need to
Flash poll
keep
before
talking
we
then
finish.
while I'm doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Slipstream Merchant. I try to find it. There's a lot of people saying they didn't want him in the first place, so they've got the preconcepted sort of opinion that he shouldn't have been there in the first place. I think that's going to be a stumbling block, and I think that always was a stumbling block for Russell Martin. I don't think anybody had him. Nobody had him down to be the new manager. Nobody, and then all of a sudden, um, he came out of nowhere, and then was presented with a job.
I've put the poll
Um,
out. The poll's out. So the poll, sorry, Brian. The poll
that's all
is
right.
because Brian's asked for it, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
think many people agree with me. Should Martin be sacked? Yes, no. Honestly, don't know. So there's your poll.
So there's Russell Martin was behind the eight ball before he even started, right? Because obviously a lot of people didn't want him in the job. So that's going to be that's a difficult one for a manager to get around and get on top of. So it's certainly going to be interesting how Russell Martin manages to or conjures up an idea where people change their mind. Because as we all know, and I've said it before, once you lose a good majority of the fans, it's extremely difficult to get that back. It's extremely difficult to change people's minds after some folk are just make up their mind, bang, that is it. Nothing will change that opinion, and that's fine. Opinions are absolutely fine. But when you're needing the support of fans and you don't get it because a lot of them don't think you should be there, then I'm afraid you're on a sticky wicket.
Yeah. And by the way, look, Martin, you've went from give him until December a few days ago to sack him now. Yeah, I have. I have. Because I didn't see that performance against Dundee coming. And I didn't see Martin's reaction after that Dundee performance coming either. To go from the reaction from Motherwell to that reaction against Dundee at home, whether he's trying to protect the players or not, whether he's trying to keep the media spotlight away or not, I didn't see that coming, JD, and it's just absolutely knocked the stuffing out me. It's absolutely knocked the stuffing out me. And look, and Multiple Man's 100% right. If folk enjoy saying I told you so, then they are enjoying Martin floundering. I hate it, Multiple Man. I would rather be sitting here with 2 wins out of 2, a goal difference of +7, with no goals conceded, and saying, oh, I can't believe how wrong I was about Martin. I'm ecstatic. I am ecstatic that I was wrong about Martin. And I may still be. I absolutely may still be. I hope I am. I really hope I am. But that flash poll, 145 votes. Yes has got 48%. No has 35%, and honestly don't know is 17%. So 48% of our comments, 49% of our comments now think Russell Martin should be sacked.
Well, again,
What
that's
was
just
that noise?
I don't know.
Oh, right.
Maybe but I mean, that's just folks' opinion. You know what I mean? That's and you're allowed opinions. You're allowed to say when things are going great. You're allowed to have an opinion about that, and when things are going bad, you're allowed to have an opinion about that as well, because that's what football's all about. So it's absolutely fine. I mean, I'm surprised the yeses aren't higher. I'm surprised they're not higher. I thought that was going to be extremely lopsided at one point, but there could be several people watching that don't want him sacked. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, and Donald, strange Martin, you look beyond the serial losers wearing the shirt and not wanting them gone first. There was at least 5 or 6 of Russell Martin signings on that park at the weekend.
Yeah,
and
there was.
we still put in that performance.
Yeah.
So it's not just all about Martin. It's not just all about this and all about that. I'm just telling you where I'm at. And where I'm at is I don't have any positivity left. I just don't. And I think, Bryan, because we're back tonight at 7:30, I think we'll leave it there, because this has been an extremely depressing day. And yes, we will be plastered all over socials. I must say, by the way, at the weekend, I saved an absolute fortune in advertising. That's the only positive I've got to come out of all of this, is that I saved thousands in advertising. So there we go. And look, we put ourselves online, right? I put myself online. So I put myself in a position to be mocked. And I've got no issue with being mocked, because I put myself in that position to be mocked. So
I think the thing is as well, an opinion's what you think currently. Doesn't mean to say it's, that's what you're genuinely feeling at that point. In a month's time, that could change because opinions change. So
absolutely.
It's all just about here and now. That's what you're honestly thinking at this point. So yeah, things might change in a few weeks' time or a month's time, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and Donald, delighted. I'm backing Russell Martin and want rid of Butland, Tav, Suter, Diamondi, Dessers, Dill, Danilo. How can you win a game with these inconsistent clowns? Great point, mate. Great point. Yeah. And again, I'm not going to argue with you. There's some really sad people out there. Imagine tuning into a Rangers podcast when you're not a Rangers fan. It really there's a mental health epidemic in football podcasts. People watching them, mental health epidemic. Anyway,
O and a D.
Yes. We will be back tonight at 7:30. We will be discussing more about the game, actually, rather than just Martin. We'll be discussing the fact that Jeffy might be on his way out as well. There's been rumours surrounding him that will be discussed tonight. Also, the fact that we're probably going to be bringing in Mendy. And, of course, we'll look towards tomorrow night, because I'm just separating Europe and the league now completely from my thoughts. So tomorrow night, hopefully I'll be happy on the reaction. And then, yeah, then I'll be sad again. So, Bryan, thank you very much.
No problem, thank you, and good luck to Rangers away to Victoria Pilsen. And as you say, I'm not really too worried about Europe because it seems to take care of itself. So all will be good tomorrow.
Hopefully. Can I just say thank you, by the way, as well, Al, for all the super chats, all the comments, all the likes, all the shares, all the subscribes, all the new members that have joined up as well. Thank you so much for all the support. I hate being that negative, and I hate being that reactionary. I genuinely do hate it. But you can't help the way you feel. And I've always said that when I do this, I always tell the truth, even if it makes me look like an idiot. I'll always tell the truth about how I feel. So there we go, folks. Back tonight, 7:30. Thank you, Bryan. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the support. And we shall speak, unfortunately, very, very soon.